Well, good afternoon. I would say good morning, but it's actually afternoon for me, and we're live for a very special additional webinar, not part of our 30 for 30. And I see some of our regular people from the 30 for 30 are there. Einstein, hello to you from Nantes in France. And also Ignacy says hello from Topeka. Ready for Delphi Duino. Delphi Duino, there's a phrase. And also hello from Topeka, Kansas. I know Topeka very well. My brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-laws, but two, lives in Kansas City, Kansas, and so we go through Topeka quite a bit. It's very good. And also, before we get to Boyne as well, just call out one other person. Boyne's just getting prepared. Good morning, Ian and Boyne. It is 4 a.m. down under in Australia. Boyne, this is amazing. We've got people coming at us from 4 a.m. And what I'm going to do, Boyne, I'm going to set you to go live. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all the other strange people, want to say hi to Boyne. Boyne, I think we might not be able to use your speakers because I think we're getting a little bit of feedback there. Let me just see if that works or not.
Hello everyone. Ian, if the speaker has feedback, I may need to switch to headset, but that will definitely impair my movement.
Actually, it seems okay. I think it's just a little bit of glitch. I have a much better internet than you. I have the powerful internet of all internet. So I have a 2 gig connection. And that's not as fast as I can get. I can get 5 gig. But I thought, you know what? I don't really need 5 gig. So we've got a whole bunch of people joining. I'm really pleased because this was one that you and I talked about and said, hey, why don't we do an extra one and stream it to Boyne's channel as well? And that's exactly what we did. Let's just say hello to a few people because Boyne, they get very upset if we don't call them out. We've already said hello to Einstein, who's actually is always on the 30 for 30. So I'm sure you know some of these faces you recognise. And good morning from Edmonton. I'm guessing that is up in Canada as well, not the Edmonton in London, which is a different spelling, I think. So hello, Andrew. Who else we've got? Yes, Topeka is the home of the industrial pothole. That is a joke for Midwesterners. I lived in Nebraska for a long time in Omaha, and I can tell you that, boy, there are potholes in the roads there like you've never, ever seen. Joaquin from Portugal, thank you for joining us. And Uga, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Uga, I think it's Uga. Hello from Germany. And oh my word, we've got Thomas from Thomas. I can never say your last name, but you know I love you, Thomas. However your name is spelled. But hi from Austria. Thanks for joining. We've also, Boyne, we've got someone from Rome. You have a worldwide appeal. People have come to see you from all over the place. And also, Mahmoudul Hassan is joining us from Facebook as well. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody. Oh, and Brazil, Saladi, hello there. Saladi is a very good MVP, Boyne. She does, she's Brazilian, speaks very good English. I've seen her do things, but I've seen her do stuff with Delphi and like a watch like this. I'm not sure whether, I think it was probably an Android Wear watch or something like that. But so, lady, I know we don't talk very often, but I pay attention to what she does. She's a very smart person, and also she recently went to Delphi in Greece as well. So that's a little bit of a dedication there. It's a long way from Brazil. Summer's in Connecticut. And David I is joining us as well. Visuino and Boyne both right. Yes, you do, my friend. Yeah, thank you. And David I, of course, he's our own personal hero. I've got a lot of respect for David. He's a really great guy. He says he's semi-retired, Boyne. You know that means he's not in any way, shape, or form retired, right? So, who else got? Jose from Mexico. Thank you for joining us. He's one of our frequent flyers. I recognize his name. Bruno from Portugal. So that's a couple of people from Portugal. And Tim, who is one of my local guys in Cedar Park in Texas. Not that local. It's a good 3-hour drive away. But in Texas terms, that's basically on my doorstep. You know how it works. Okay. Oh, and also Peter, I know who you are. He's from the Netherlands. a very smart guy, and a Microsoft. Can't remember if it's a Microsoft MVP, but it's got a very, very big package that you download from. Think it's .NET, but the actual package itself has got a load of Delphi stuff in it. He's kind of sneaked Delphi into the Microsoft. He's got hundreds of thousands, if not a million downloads. And Javier says, "Good morning, Ian and Boyan. Greetings from Mexico." And this leads us nicely on to saying what you do, because as David I says, Visuino makes IoT development fun. I absolutely agree that's the case. So for those of you that have joined because of the webinars that I do and you don't know who Boyan is, I'll talk a little bit about him, and then I'm going to let Boyan take over and do his thing, because if there's nobody on the planet I know who is better at Delphi and IoT stuff, I mean, just look behind him. You see all my stuff. I have like geeky war games related, arty paintings, a genuine samurai sword. That is actually a real Japanese World War II time samurai sword, but I have, geeky stuff. Boyan has an entire workshop of bits, which I think really does, make you recognize that he's the man. And Thiago, who is an MVP as well, a very good guy. I think I saw him doing Código Delphi, I think they call it. I apologize if I'm wrong, but he's saying that I'm an MVP in Embarcadero, Brazil, and using RAD with Arduino, using Visuino with Arduino, and ESP32 IoT. Yes, very good stuff. I've got some bits to show people before I talk to Boyan and let Boyan. So what we're talking about today are some things like this. So this is a rather cool device. And you mentioned ESP32, and Boyan, you know what this is a paper S3. It's got a liquid paper type display, one of these ebook type displays, which are very, very good. And it comes from they're all made in China, I think, but the company,
this is M5
Stack. That's it. I couldn't remember who it was, but M5 Stack, they're a very good supplier. These are the kind of cool things you can get. I've got a whole ton of them because I am an absolute fanatic about these things myself as well. And so you can even get them as small as this. This is a very, there you go. Oh, wow, snap. So these are really cool displays. This is an LED dot matrix display type thing. And you can see on the bottom there, if I turn it, it's got nice little connections for USB-C. And if you turn it over, M5 Stack, this is what they do all the time. They print all the pinouts on the back. I don't think my camera's going to focus very well. Yeah, it won't focus, but I think if I do that, maybe it will. Yeah, there you go. So you can see they have this pinout display. So you can wire things up, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can also, for those of you that are not familiar with these things as well, Boyan's software, which he's going to talk about, can do program these kind of things. So I've got a kit here. This is a kit from Elegoo, and it's basically got a whole bunch of bits you can tinker with. It's got Arduino boards in it and things like that, and wires and sensors, and you can wire it up. And basically, that is what Boyan is very, very good at. He's an excellent developer as well. It's not just this kind of stuff that he can do. He can do all sorts of things like signal processing and graphics. And I mean, basically, you are the all-round software developer when it comes to all sorts of stuff, Boyan, aren't you? I think that's the case. So I think I've talked enough. Boyan, what do you want to talk about today? Because this is kind of your stream, and I'm going to let you to do your thing, and I'll be here hanging out as well. I'll answer some questions that I can answer, but are you able to see the Q&A, the questions down the side, and reply to them, or not?
I'm sorry, I muted myself not to disturb you. I was looking at some of the questions, and I tried to reply. I'm not sure if people understood that the reply was from me, but I pretty much thanked everybody.
Yeah, slash and then Boyan at the end of it, and then they'll know.
Yeah, because the way I probably will do it, I'm going to do some demonstrations. So yeah, while I'm doing those demonstrations, if you'll be able to monitor the questions and just ask me as I'm doing stuff, I may not even have the chance to look at the screen.
Yeah.
I have put the stream on my secondary screen, so I often will be looking like this on the second screen to see questions and stuff like that. And yeah, I think the best is for us to start and just show what Visuino is, and to make it even more fun, we're gonna run it from Delphi debugger because it's my development version.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you up.
Yes.
I'm going to turn me off, so to speak, and then let me see if I can do that. And then that makes you big. And then if you want to share your screen, and then I can.
Yeah, I'm starting.
Yeah.
Entire screen. Yeah, I have to remember that it has to be an entire screen.
That's it.
It will not
Now,
work
what I'm
properly.
going to do is probably turn your camera off because it will save you a bit of bandwidth. So if you go down to the bottom, can you see the camera display? If you turn the camera off, not your mic.
Yeah, I will turn it off.
There you go. And then
so
and then we'll make
better, I presume.
Yeah, and that's it. And then I'm just going to make this bigger. I think I can make it bigger. Hold on 1 second. I think that's as big as I can make it. It's your resolution.
Well, the other option is I can move it to the other monitor and share the other monitor. It has different resolution.
Yeah,
so
I think I would do that. I'm just going to
so I will move. I already. Well, let's see. Trying to move Delphi to the right monitor. So stop the sharing temporarily.
I'll turn that off for a second.
And I will try to share the other monitor and see if the resolution is better and people can see it better. So how is this one?
That's better. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
We'll try to do it this way, and I may need to move things around between the two monitors, but that's life.
Yeah, and
we always improvise.
And the only other thing I'd say is if you just drag the little zoomer up for the font, just to make it a couple of points bigger.
Good.
Yeah, that's it. That's fine. Yeah, I think that should be okay.
We're not at present, not yet. We're not yet going to look at code, but that will happen too.
Sure.
So around. So it will be a bit awkward with me. I usually don't code around on this monitor, but I should be able to handle.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I mean, if it doesn't work out, we can move back to the other monitor, and I can deal with that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Delphi has the habit of returning. Okay, doesn't matter really.
Well, do you want to go back to the? I tell you what. Let's do this. All right. Let's go back to the other monitor.
Yeah. I think it will be better if we run it to the other monitor because that's a default monitor, and you know how it is. Yeah, it gets sticky.
Yeah. So, sorry about this, everyone. We knew there would be a few technicalities, shall we say? So.
Well, that's my first stream ever, actually. So first of all, I'm not totally familiar with the
software,
particular
the broadcast software.
web interface, and I will need to again rearrange my screens. And second of all, I promise this to be improvised session. Did I lie?
Yeah, you need to share that screen again. There you go. And also, Einstein's just asking completely separately, can I share my background screen with the history of Delphi? It's genial. So it's kind of written half French, half English here. Could I share my background screen that's got the history of Delphi? It's very pretty, and it would make a good window screen. Yes, Einstein, I'll upload that at some point and put a link on there. Okay, all right. Over to you, Boyan, and do your thing.
Yes. So I already said Visuino is written in Delphi, and we're running it out of the debugger at the moment because I'm as usual in the middle of development. So this is my current development version. Right outside, I mean, right inside Delphi. So that being said, since I may need a second Delphi session, let's make sure I start one, because what I want to do is not only show Visuino, which, I mean, yeah, it's cool and it's fun, but I also want to show how we can talk to it from Delphi, which some people in the chat already have done, and obviously have enjoyed. And we may try even a few new things. So I'm starting a second instance of Delphi, while the Visuino is starting also.
Yeah.
So Visuino basically, as we already mentioned, it's a visual development environment for Arduino. And the reason I created it, I'll give you the very short story. I tried to program Arduino boards, and it was rather frustrating the way it is done. The tools are very primitive. So what I ended up doing is I took the OpenWire technology, and I adapted it for microcontroller development. And that resulted in the creation of Visuino. So I just started Visuino. This is the Pro version. There are effectively three versions. There is a completely free version, which has limitations of up to 20 components that can be put, and some of the more advanced components are not available in the free version. There is a standard version, and there is professional version. The professional version, in addition, let's start with the different elements for the people that are not familiar. Once when you start with Visuino, here, this is the most important part, is where you do your design. You start with selected board, and you can change that board to something else. As example, at the moment, this is Arduino Uno. I have also recently added very nice hints which show you basically the different type of boards, and you can search for them. So let's say you want, we're talking M5 stack Atom, right? So I can select Atom as example, the Atom matrix, and if I click, it will change the board. And now I have Atom matrix, and it will have all of the different features that are available on your board visible here. So we'll start with a new project, which it would be the Arduino Uno. And what we can do is here we have components, toolbar similar to Delphi. Unlike Delphi, the toolbar actually is a little bit more complex. It's organized not everywhere, but it's very often organized in categories and subcategories. Categories that have subcategories in them. So let's say filters, I'll collapse them. And let's say analog. Yeah, analog doesn't have subcategories, but if we go to motors as example, motors, they have, let's say, servo motors and stepper motors and DC motors. They are in separated subcategories. So it's a hierarchical structure. Some components would appear in more than one hierarchies because they belong to one or more categories. By the way, just to make sure, can everybody hear me well and follow me? Is the voice and everything good?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I think not a problem at all.
Yeah, there have been in the past occasions when I keep talking and there is silence, and I suddenly realize that nobody can hear me or nobody can see me.
I'll be here all the time, and if you go quiet, trust me, I'll let you know.
Fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, as you can see, we also have hints. I'm working increasingly to add more visual hints to more and more of the components. And let's start with the simplest project, and in the meantime still explore the IDE, because the best way to explore IDE is to actually do something with it. So the simplest project we can do in Arduino board is to have LED blink. So for this, we can select a pulse generator, and as you can see, pulse generator will appear in a couple of different categories. Doesn't matter, it's the same pulse generator. It simply allows you to deal to it from different places. The Arduino board by default has LED on pin 13. So I'm going to connect it to pin 13. And as you can see, Visuino will show you that the particular board, if you can see on the screen, has LED listed here. So you don't even have to remember on which pin the LED is. And our project is ready. As you can see here, the same as in Delphi, or Delphi, if you prefer, we have a property editor, and in the property editor, we can, as example, change the frequency to 2 times a second. Right? So, that being said, let's see how is my setup and can I actually show something. So, I have improvised here a second camera. It is not pointing at the best possible place, but I'm going to point it. So I'm in the middle of actually working to map this device in Visuino. So I will just leave it connected. And I'll try to hook the Arduino Nano to the USB. So we'll go back to Visuino. We need to change the board to Nano. All the connections will be preserved. So as you can see, this is a Nano board. Selected, it's almost identical to the Arduino Uno. The Nano actually, oddly enough, being a smaller board, has a couple of additional pins compared to the Uno. So now I can go to the Build tab and select the COM port where the board is installed. It's already pre-selected in my case. And if I, yeah, it was loading the Nano settings. Now, as soon as these buttons become enabled, I can click on the upload button and it will compile and upload. So the fact that there is LED at the moment slightly blinking, don't worry about that. This is part of my previous test project that I have uploaded. Audio is still fine because everything else is quiet.
Yeah, it's all fine. Someone's just saying that they can't see it streaming on YouTube. I'm just going to check that. It says your homepage is not working correctly. All links to product pages are invalid. Okay, well, that's something different.
Well, I'll be interested to know which homepage is not working. Is that the Meetup website or the Visuino?
I think it means, yeah, I'm not sure.
I will do a quick test for Meetup. It was working until yesterday, but again, yeah, it seems to be working. Yeah, it seems to be working. By the way, funny enough, but yeah, this is what I do day in and day out when I'm mapping those devices. You can see all the screens that I have opened with different schematics and stuff. So anyway, while we're talking, the code was uploaded. And now, if I switch the camera, you can see right here that LED is blinking. So, and it's blinking twice a second. So, if I want to change it to a different frequency and return it to the original one, which was once a second, I can just click on this arrow back to return it to default value. Click again on upload. This button is available both here and here because it's a very important button. So if we rebuild, upload, and I may even be able to show both screens at the same time. Let's try that. So you will see it in real time how it's uploading. Okay, compiled the changes. And it's trying to upload. It should upload any second. Oh. Yeah, it's uploading. And as you can see now, it's blinking much slower. So this is the simplest project we could have done. What we can do with this project is I can also connect the output of the pulse generator to the serial port, and we can quickly upload again. And then, yeah, I'll connect manually, though there is option in the serial port to select to automatically. I'll select this option. I'll select this option to connect as soon as the code is uploaded. So as soon as the code is uploaded, it should connect and start showing us the serial port. And since we're spending a little bit too much time on this board, after that we'll move to more interesting boards and more interesting stuff.
I'm just going to say for a moment, one of your streams is not streaming from Restream. I don't know why, but there are people there, and I've just posted a message to say, if you can't see it on the stream that you think you should be on, then go to the main Embarcadero one. Boyan will be getting a copy of the recording this as well. But clearly there are people that have turned up live, because we can tell from the viewer account. But if there isn't, sometimes there can be issues with stream keys, and it's possible that's what's going on. But go to the Embarcadero channel on YouTube, and you can view it on there, because we're definitely streaming on there as well, and on Litov Software channel as well. So not quite sure what's going on, but you know, those are the vagaries of broadcast. But it's all good. We're here, we're streaming live, and we're going out to something like 12 different channels or more, so we're good to go.
Please accept my apologies if there are any technical issues with the YouTube channels and stuff. I'm not sure what could be happening.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of moving parts, and just it may only be just one of them, so it's good. You're going well.
Yeah, okay. So in any case, as you can see, guys, and I will show you the other screen, you can see that the LED is blinking, and together with the blinking LED, we have here on the serial port the values true and false as they're changing. So enough with this boring board. Let's switch to a different board that I have prepared. Put this so I can continue to work with it later. And yeah, I put this board here. So this is a board from Seed Studio. The one I already showed was just your average Arduino Uno, Arduino Nano clone. So not that impressive board. I personally, and I'm me well when I'm with the back toward the microphone?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you hear me well when I'm talking with my back toward the microphone?
Yes, I can hear you fine. You're good.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because I will turn around to show on the other camera the different board. I'm going to connect it. So, yeah, it already has something programmed in it. We'll play with it. So, for this, we'll start with brand new project. And again, you already, let's go back a little bit on Visuino. You already saw the component toolbar, the properties editor, the design area, the serial terminal, the build. You also have the ability to manage and install platforms for different boards. By the way, Visuino will automatically install the platform for the board you have selected if the platform is not installed. You also have libraries manager. Visuino will also install automatically libraries. However, you may have to every now and then update to newer version or switch to specific versions. So that's why there is library manager as well. The professional version also includes a live code view, which we'll actually see in action right now, where you can see how your code changes as you're making changes and adjustments. So for this, we'll select the growth kit, which is exactly this board. As you can see, I have conveniently added recently hint, which shows you what board you're selecting, and match with the real hardware you'll be programming. So this, let me give you a quick intro on the board. So this is effectively Arduino Uno, and it has OLED display, it has speaker, it has potentiometer, button, temperature and humidity sensor, microphone, LED, it has accelerometer, gyro, and air pressure sensor. And the idea is it's sold in this form, and you have two ways to use it. You can use it with all the sensors already pre-connected, and they're actually labeled to which pin of the board they're connected. Or you can break all the sensors and use this type of connector. It's called groove connector. And it uses this type of groove wire. And you can connect, let's say, from this, from this connector to, let's say, this sensor, and so on and so forth. So you can reconnect it in different form. Both M5 Stack and Seed Studio use groove connectors, as well as some other companies. There are a couple of so-called standards in terms of connectors for easy connecting devices. The groove connectors are among the most popular. So what we'll do here is, again, as soon as you select the device, you can see that you have all of the different sensors and stuff like that. So we have potentiometer. Well, how about instead of potentiometer, how about we start measuring the temperature in the room? So now, as I said, there is pressure sensor and there is a temperature humidity sensor. So it happens that the pressure sensor also has temperature. However, I had forgotten that this board also has a light sensor. So we'll start with the light sensor. I'll just connect the light sensor and connect it to the serial port. So the output of the light sensor will go to the serial port. We'll select the right COM port. In this case, it's a different COM port. And I'll click compile and upload. And in the meantime, anybody can ask questions. Okay.
Yeah,
for PLC.
There are actually a couple of questions.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so let me just find them. Cyborg Dom says, is this type of device programming also applicable to industrial equipment such as handheld gas analyzers? I did actually kind of explain to him, because he also followed that up and said, what will be required from the industrial equipment OEM before one can start the equipment programming using Delphi? Well, let me partially answer that myself as well, because I actually have written a lot of software that interfaces to OEM equipment. And it depends on the OEM equipment, because some of them actually do use ESP32s and things like that, or they're just straightforward serial interfaces. A lot of them come with their own SDKs and APIs. And certainly things like hand scanners that I used to work with, and biometric scanners for time and attendance and door locks, they definitely have their own SDKs. And so it's not quite the same as what Visuino does. You do have to write code that works with their API, but If they're ESP32 or there are Visuino type devices, the Arduino type power devices, then it's very possible that Visuino is going to be able to work with it. So that's the short answer there. It's one of those things where you say it depends on the device.
Well, I actually can answer that. Visuino Pro is more or less specifically designed for PLCs and industrial devices. Here are some examples. These are devices that people use with Visuino to program, and they use different types of controllers. And there is a company in Australia that manufactures their own industrial controllers. I have some of them here too. And I have a licensing agreement where I have developed a special version of Visuino that is sold with all of their devices. And that's the software that's used for all of the devices for anybody who buys their devices to program them. So Visuino Pro was designed to program PLC and industrial devices. Again, today the focus of this video was not to talk about industrial devices, but in any case, I'm also buried with industrial devices, which I program with Visuino. So that being said, in the meantime, I already programmed the by the way, since we're talking about that, let's quickly look up this company. So this is the company that I mentioned, and this is the device. And if you start looking around, you will see screens that look very familiar to Visuino. Again, I mean, yeah, you have to, look on the website, but yeah, you will discover that effectively these devices are all programmed with special version of Visuino.
Wow, did not know that. Delphi everywhere, eh? Yeah, it's incredible.
So, yes. So the answer is that indeed Visuino can be, not only can, but is as of today. I have even posted videos of whole industrial floors that were automated with Visuino. There was an entertainment park in Brazil that the entire entertainment park was automated. All the attractions in the parks were programmed with Visuino. So yeah, it is used in industrial environment. Well, or entertainment park environment in this case. So that being said, let's go back to what Visuino does. As you can see, if I cover the light sensor, I can see on the scope that the values are changing, and I can see it in the terminal. Of course, the scope is much easier to see the values changing. But yeah, that's how you can connect a sensor. So that being said, let's try to do something more interesting, because we are still doing boring stuff. Unfortunately, yeah, like questions is going back and forth, and hearing some troubleshootings occasionally. Things may take sometimes longer than expected. But let's say if you want to read both temperature and humidity from one of the sensors, or yeah, temperature and humidity is fine. So normally in Arduino IDE and in terminal, yeah, you can get one value, that's fine. But getting two values simultaneously or more values simultaneously, let's say I also want the light and air pressure and everything else, is difficult. So there is solution, however, here. So what you can do is you can add a packet component, connect the packet component to the serial port, and now if you click here, you can add different elements to add to the packet. So we'll look at analog. Yeah, I'll just add analog channels for now. and we'll add 4 of them actually. And for the fun of it, why don't I also add the button? So there is a button. I'll add 1 digital channel. And to make sure that the communication is reliable, we'll add a unique header marker. Doesn't matter what I enter, as long as it has value. So we have a distinct header, and I'll connect the values I want to send over the communication. And connect the button right here. So since we want to show more things and we don't have probably much time, I will also show you how we can use display. So here we have display. I'll connect, I think I connected the temperature to the display. Let me see. Yes, the temperature. So I have connected the temperature to the display. The display is quite small and it will be difficult for you to see it. So I'll change the font on the display. So here under display, text, font size. 2 is still probably going to be small. Let's change it to 4. If it is too big, I can always change it. I don't know what to say. Sorry, I click on the save button. No need to say this in temporary project. I have the habit of, when making changes, to click the save button every now and then. So do I need to do anything else? No, we're done. Yeah, this is a bit more complex project. In this case, we're sending information from the button, multiple sensors, and we also send one of the sensors to the display to be displayed. So let's try to upload it. See what the device is doing loading. Again, please accept my apologies. This is a very improvised stream. I'm just making the stuff we are doing right at the moment on the go. I'm just coming up with the ideas and implementing them. By the way, yeah, Finn is a big fan of Visuino, by the way, and a very knowledgeable guy. He just posted that their videos that show how to program the PLCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have made a doodle. When I said that this is my experimental version, I did not lie. I'm working on changes. So my humidity sensor is not working on this board. I have changed something and have broken it. But no worries, we will just take temperature from something else. We'll take temperature from this sensor. Yeah, I have broken the sensor. I'll have to make a note, and as soon as this stream finishes, fix it. Visuino is constantly moving target. And again, this is not a release. Releases go through very extensive testing. This version has not gone through that extensive testing, unfortunately. Here we have gyroscope, and we have potentiometer. Okay, I'll connect it to the potentiometer. It's easier than showing it with gyro. Sorry about this, guys. You caught me in a book. That's part of the development process. I'm constantly working to optimize the code generation, and with each version, the generated code is typically smaller and smaller. But that leads to occasional glitches like this one, where I'm in the middle of changing something.
So is it working now, or are you? I mean, it's working now, right?
Pardon?
You are able to do the demo.
It's working now.
Yeah. I thought so. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he just say?
Yeah, I simply move to a different sensor, and that's it. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
this board has multiple sensors. One of them, I have messed up something with a specific sensor. I can immediately pick another sensor
Yeah.
and
And
use something else.
that's the thing about people like M5 Stack as well. As you know, I bought my S3 e-ink device that I showed at the beginning of this stream. I bought that probably early December, and they just literally released it, and there were no drivers for it anywhere, not even from the people I bought it from. And it's a bit of an annoying thing, but it's because you're literally, with a lot of these devices, you're at the cutting edge, you know, of what can be done. So
yeah, things are changing very fast. Oh, by the way, do you see the temperature here
yeah,
on the display? So the temperature is working. We have display, and here we have our gauges. And if I change things, as example, I am moving the potentiometer. You can see that the gauge is moving. So now to show that on the scope is a bit difficult because we have the air pressure is a very high value. However, if I zoom, I should be able to zoom here. So if we zoom this axis, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to disconnect the air pressure value because the air pressure value is in tens of thousands of pascals. And it basically makes it impossible to see small changes in everything else. Quickly, we'll disconnect this sensor.
I like the way Boyan just grabs circuit boards and moves them around. I remember I used to work years ago. I worked with my father at a microchip manufacturer, and they're actually a very big distributor. So there are literally satellites up in the sky now that have got microchips in them that I have personally handled back in the days. And we used to have to be wired up to a bench with anti-stat wires, and we used to have a rubber floor and a rubber worktop. And I remember them going, "Oh, be careful!" And nowadays, of course, people just can handle these circuit boards without too much difficulty because they've just improved so much. You know, I mean, they're not as fragile as they used to. I mean, they still are. You need to know what you're doing. If you put 15 volts through something that's supposed to be, you know, 1 volt, then you're going to probably fry the board. But most of them about 5 volts, something like that. And they've got a lot of opto-isolated couplers and things like that. Look at that. See? And this scope that you're showing there, this is actually one of your components, isn't it? That's right. Am I saying that's correct?
Yeah. Yes. This is one. Of course, I use my own stuff to build Visuino. And what we'll do is my plan was now to try to read the very same things from Delphi. So let's see what we can do in terms of that and how well it will work. So you can see that.
So just to recap, what people are seeing there is that oscilloscope display that you've got, and these gauges that people see on the screen. This is Visuino itself, which is an IDE of its own for allowing you to write programs that are visual programs to program various bits of hardware. But not only that, I want people to pay attention to those gauges that they see on the screen and that oscilloscope display, because as Boyan says, he also, in addition to Visuino, has a whole component set, in fact, lots of component sets that allow you to write these kind of programs yourself in Delphi as well. So there are two elements to what Boyan does. There's the Visuino program that you're looking at the moment, which is amazing, you know, really easy to, you know, program. It's all visual. It all does, you know, there's no like writing lots of code. It does it for you. But also there are these sets of components that Boyan produces that you can put into your own Delphi programs and C++ builder programs, I think, and show off these graphic type of displays, not just for Arduino and various boards like that, but actually any kind of data that you want to visualize on the screen. So Boyan is like super multi-purpose, you know, solution for everything. That's what you are, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I'm trying, but now that we're talking about that, that's indeed what I was thinking of showing.
Yeah.
So here I have started a second Delphi instance. And I know that I say occasionally Delphi, occasionally Delphi. I personally prefer Delphi, but that being said, different people have different preferences. So I'll use them interchangeably.
Well, you know,
Uh,
I've been saying
and
it Delphi since 1990 something, so since the very first day. So the official pronunciation guide is you can say it either way.
yes, so that being said, here is Delphi, and I'll drop a comport from my libraries, and this is from Communication Lab. And what we'll need to unpack it because our data is packaged there, and we'll need a couple of gauges and scope and stuff like that. So let's say a couple gauges. And to speed it up, I can just copy and paste. Should work theoretically. And one more. So yeah, three gauges is probably enough already. We can add LED. Have some fun. So now we'll be talking to the device from Delphi, and let's make the LED bigger so we can all see it. And let's add the scope component because Ian obviously likes the scope component. So one of the biggest problems is running out of real estate on the screen. But yeah, we'll free some more space. Okay. Make things a bit bigger. So, and this time I'll save the project because I have set my Delphi to or RunStudio to auto save. And I'm not going to quickly. Yeah, it's all saved. That's good. So now disconnect from here. So we will be able to connect here. Select the comport component. It's 3. Go here and let's try if it still works. So I have something that should work. So if I copy here, copy all the elements, and let's see if this functionality still works in my new betas here. Voila! As you can see, I was able to copy all the channels from Visuino and paste them right here in Delphi. So I don't even have to bother to configure all the channels. The only thing I need to change is the header marker. Set it to the same header marker. Everything else should be fine. And I'll quickly connect a few of the components here. Let me see, there was disconnected channel. Yeah, that's number 3. So number 3 is not used. Number 4 is used. Okay. And then the LED goes here. And I can, as example, add a couple of channels just by dragging this guy here. And we'll connect as well. Let me doubt it will work, but I can try. Oh yeah, it worked out of any. So when you have multiple channels like this together, you can click and connect all of them together at once. Unfortunately, the third one is not used, so we'll have to connect them manually, but hey, not big deal. Yeah, we have disconnected channel there because we quickly changed sensor. So that should be the project. So let's see if it actually works, or I have messed up something. Oh,
That's
I
what I
didn't
like.
builder.
Optimism. Let's.
My fault. Rat Studio got me, and Jan, I know that you are frustrated with that as well. Yeah, I don't want to try to C++ builder for a variety of reasons. One of them is long compilation times. But you know, Rat Studio, unfortunately, when you create new projects, if you have used C++ builder before, it puts C++ builder on top of the menu. Otherwise, Delphi is on top of the menu of creating your project, and that gets me every now and then. So I'll have to redo the same project, but we'll just copy and paste it. Yeah, let's see if I say file new. C++ builder is on the top, and I unfortunately have the muscle memory to select the first item on the top. So I was working in C++ builder earlier, and it it started the wrong type of project. Doesn't matter, I just copy and paste it quickly in Delphi. That's one of the good things. You can get C++ builder project, copy and paste everything, and you're back in business. So we didn't lose a bit. We recreated the project in Delphi. Sorry about that, improvised stream, you know. It's happening.
That's all right. These things happen.
Live.
There's a couple of questions that I'll ask whilst we're going along, because I think, you know, people seem to be coming up with all sorts of questions. Einstein wants to know, everything you're showing, is this available in Visuino standard?
Yeah, everything I showed actually will work with the standard Visuino version.
Okay.
And we spoke about the live code view. I'll quickly show it. So this is the live code view with a project, and as you change the project, the code here changes. Now, one of the interesting things is, if you look at the code, it's a lot of code. But the reason there is a lot of code is because this is very high optimization. And in C++, sometimes you have to write code in order to generate smaller footprint. And here's one example. Normally, in normal type of programming, if you create a class, as example, and if you have Boolean inside that class, that Boolean will take 1 byte minimum, right? In C++, you can have things like bit fields and stuff like that, but even with bit fields, if you have, let's say, 3 Booleans only, you still will take 1 whole byte. Visuino is different. Visuino will share a single byte between multiple objects. Okay, so for that it has to use templates in order to share the memory. So this is all the memory of the RAM that we are actually using, aside from what Arduino uses for its serial port. And you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 bytes, 4 bytes. Well, the 4 bytes we're using 1 bit only. But again, all the code that we have written has used 4 bytes of memory up to this point. So cool. Yeah, this is very highly optimized code, and I use a lot of tricks to do the code optimization. But in any case, in the professional version, you have this iView. The professional version has industrial protocols for PLCs. We're talking about PLCs like Modbus and stuff. Professional version also has Fourier transformations. It has, very importantly, and I'm going to quickly just show it since we started talking about that before we go back to Delphi. It has a custom code component. And in the custom code component, you can inject your own pieces of code. So as example, if you want to include some additional files, here you can add, include this and this, H, and then you can add some code during the initialization section. So my object that begins example, right, or whatever other initialization you want. And you can add code to be done in execution. As example, my object do something, right? Whatever functions you need to call. And if normally the execute will be executed in loop, but you can have also the option to clock it. And you also have, now we don't have time to cover all of that, but you can add inputs and outputs to the component and work with the values. And you can connect your custom code with the rest of the diagram. And by the way, Visuino also has video processing as well to some extent, and I'm expanding. Anyway, I'm deleting the custom code since it has nothing to do with the project. I wanted to quickly mention the differences because there was question between professional and standard version. So now we have our Delphi code, which I copied from the C++ Builder project. Let's quickly compile and run it. The compilation will take a bit because, again, I have all of my sources, so Delphi, when the sources are available, is going to recompile them. So that would be a little bit slower on my system than on a normal installation of the libraries. And yeah, I'm always able to answer questions. Yeah, if anybody asks questions.
Yeah. And Bert Riefkirk says he sent you an email at some point. It might be worth you just following up on that as well. I'm not going to answer these questions that he's got on the stream. I think we just forward you the questions and then you can go from there. He's just asking about he sent you a debugged header file. I think that's for something you can talk about later.
Yeah.
So.
I may have missed it. If I can answer email, because sometimes I get overloaded, please send it again or something. So you can see, oh, I did not scale well my gauges. So let's quickly rescale the gauges. Let's see who is connected to what. So this is potentiometer, light sensor is light sensor is the last one. Potentiometer is first one. So the first and the last one, we should set them to a different max value. So yeah, they're not set out to scale at the moment. So I need to change the max value to 1. Then we'll see them better. One of the Visuino features, which is very important feature, is that majority of the values are normalized. So potentiometer will give you a value between 0 and 1. Servo position will also be between 0 and 1. So anything that can be normalized is normalized 0 to 1. So you can connect them without the need to recalculate, let's say, potentiometer 0 to 5 versus servo 0 to 180 or something like that. So that makes connecting stuff much easier. And value to 1, because again, it's a normalized value. And it's not between 0 and 100, but it's between 0 and 1. And now I will bring the camera. You can see what I'm doing while the Delphi application is running. You can see that I'm changing this gauge, and I'm covering the light sensor, changing the lighting. And I'm not sure if I can. Oh yeah, I changed the temperature. See, I put my finger, and the temperature is immediately changing. You can see it. We're getting closer to 24 degrees, and if I release, it will start dropping again. So the temperature is going down. So that's how you can connect and receive multiple sensors directly from Delphi. And okay, spare the fact that I did it initially in C++ Builder by mistake. It literally takes a minute or less to do that. And let's I'll disconnect this. Let's try something even simpler. Let's say we want the temperature to just arrive on our serial port. And for this, I'll leave everything else in place, but I'll disconnect it. So let's go here, disconnect from here. So the serial port will be disconnected from Unpacket. I just, instead of writing a whole new project, I'm just going to modify this one. And what I will do is I'll add the terminal. So actually, this is the simplest thing. If you just add a COM port component and a terminal, nothing else. And let's see if it still works. That's my terminal right here. So if I connect them to each other, oh, I had something else selected and moved it vertically. Okay, so if I just connect the two together, I will need to upload the code, of course. Let's upload the code after the change. So basically here, forget the packet. The fact that it's connected is not in use, but basically I took the temperature and I'm sending it to the serial port, as you can see, with this connection. And I just want to see it in a terminal. That would be the easiest way. So let's make sure the code is uploaded. The compilation is done by the C++ compilers, and it's out of my control how long it will take to compile, but it doesn't take a whole long. Same is for the uploader. I'm using the standard Arduino uploader, and it's up to them, I mean, how efficient the uploader is. I simply am calling it from inside Visuino. It's still trying to upload. It's funny that very often it takes much less time to create a project than to compile and upload it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I found this myself when I've done things in the past with these boards. The what is the,
in any case,
sorry, what is the C compiler that you're using?
yes. The compiler is whatever comes with the Arduino platform. So I use many compilers. Visuino will use many different compilers from many vendors.
Right.
They're automatically installed. Yeah, ESP32 comes with its own. Even different versions of ESP32 come with different compilers. Right? They have RISC-V versions. They have ARM-based versions. They're different compilers with different speeds.
Cool.
And different cores. Okay, my mistake. I am connected here, and I try to connect to the same COM port from two applications, and the COM port is not shared resource. Yeah, so I had to disconnect from there. I got exception that the port is in use. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, I just wanted to show you. So if you just drop a terminal component and a COM port component and connect them, you can immediately see the same values which were coming here before. Which actually this is, well, it's not the same terminal, but it's a similar type of terminal. So that's that. How are we on time and what else? A lot of stuff, but again, I don't know how long people want.
Well, I'm fine. Keep going. I think, yeah, I don't have anything. I mean, I always have something else to do, but I think I think the important thing here is to show you know, the kinds of devices that you can program. And for those of you that are watching this, if you've not used any devices before, I definitely recommend going to M5 Stack and having a look at their website, because they have some really interesting devices. I had one I showed on one stream that's like the size of my thumb, and it's a little red device. I can't remember. I think it's called the M5 Stack C or something. It's got a full color stick. That's it. Yes, the stick, and it's got a full color screen on it. It's got some buttons on it. It's got sensors on it. It's got Wi-Fi built in, and it's absolutely amazing. And it was absolutely, very cost effective and extremely easy to program as well. And there are lots of these devices out there because Arduino is, I believe, open source. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Boyan, but it's an open source thing, a bit like Raspberry Pi is. And so you can, build ESP32 type devices if you're a manufacturer. And there are a lot of devices out there that do everything. The one that I really like, I haven't checked recently whether the driver's around, is the e-ink device, because you can literally create your own e-ink reader or even an e-ink display. And, the sky's the limit. There's like control boards out there to control power, for example. Shelly makes some devices which are very interesting that you can plug into your household power supply, and it'll tell you how much power you're using. So if you turn on your air conditioning, if you live in the United States, it'll tell you exactly how expensive that air conditioning is costing, how bad it is. But as you can see, Boyan's got on the camera there, he's got a little robot device with wheels. He's got the is that that robot arm? Is that the Elegoo arm, or is it something else? It's because that's one, right?
It's one of the Elegoo versions, and this particular one is interesting because it has two controllers, which both of them can be programmed with Visuino. So it has a normal Arduino Uno here, and it has ESP32 camera device here, and both are programmable and both are supported in Visuino.
Yeah.
So here is the walking robot, which has a nano. This is a manipulator. I was actually trying to do today something.
That was the one. That was the one I was going to get to be my sword fighting robot. I had a little knife, and I couldn't find it. I moved house and I couldn't find it for ages, and I found it the other day. I'm like, yes, I found my robot. I'm going to put it together. So I am going to program it. I'll probably use Visuino to demonstrate as well, because it is a very cool device. Someone asked, would it be possible to add custom objects like sensors to the Visuino component palette? So if you add, say, a water moisture sensor, because those are quite popular with Arduino and things like that, is it possible to tell the Visuino program that it's got a water moisture sensor or a humidity sensor or temperature sensor, if those sensors are available?
Well, first of all, the sensor may very well be available, so you can search by the name of the sensor. Visuino has hundreds and hundreds, upon hundreds of sensors and modules that are supported. But if the specific sensor is not supported, you have a couple of options, and they're all good options. I already showed how you can use custom code, and people use it often, including me. Indeed, okay, I am in the middle of work on something, and every time I start working with new sensor, I start with custom code. And here is my custom code, which actually is a real, test that I'm running right at the moment for a CAN bus FD type of device. So because I was lazy, I just put all the definitions in the init section. You can break it in a little bit better. Then inside the init, I put the initialization and some debug prints of the device. And as you can see here, I'm doing the settings for the device. And here is the CAN bus device begin function, which initializes the device. Which, in this case, you can consider it a sensor, though CAN bus is a communication device, but same thing. And here in my loop, I'm sending messages and receiving messages. And in this case, I have set it up on loopback. So, and I'm using one of the standard libraries just to kind of learn the device and debug it and make sure that I have connected all the wires correctly. That's my first step. But in a custom code, you can use any device that's not included in Visuino yet. So that's option number one. And again, I'm just showing you how I have done it for this device for my testing. Right, the device is not yet in Visuino, but I can test with it and use it. Option number two is the Visuino components are all almost every single component is defined in pure text form. And the definitions are not super complex, actually. Let's say, yeah, I use Notepad++ for my components writing. So let's take a look at some, let's say, a Boolean inverter. So Boolean inverter custom filter, yeah, it's not the best example of component. I'm looking for something a little bit more complex because this one is very simple. But in any case, as example, if you want a property, that's all what you need to do, right? If you want to add a pin, that's what you need to do. This is optional. So the syntax is a very Delphi-like, but a simplified Delphi-like. Everything is done through definition. There is no implementation. There is no code writing per se. You just describe what you want. You have pictures, I mean images for the components, and they're just normal PNG files. So that's also easy. If I go here to Visuino, and if I go here to images, and you can study, by the way, if you go to your Arduino libraries, right? And if you go to Litov, here is the source code for all the components. Here is the text definition of what the component will look like inside Visuino. So
it's effectively an open architecture there in terms of
it's open architecture and it's open source. All of this is open source. There is a repository for it. And here are the corresponding images. So, okay, this one has only one image, but it's a PNG file. Let's say here, if we go to binary, there are going to be many more images, I'm sure, yeah. So here are images for different binary components. There are 32 by 32 images. Some older things for the property editor, I used to use 16 by 16, but I'm moving everything over time to 32 by 32 pixels. So if you want to create your own component, you create your own image, you look at how I have implemented similar components, you copy and paste the code into your own text file, change the properties that you want, their names and values and ranges, right? You can with attributes, you can specify everything, including ranges. I have a lot of stuff open. But yeah, you can specify things like, as example, value range. This is a floating point property, which has default value of 1.0. And the allowed values are between 0 and 1, right? So it's very short and easy to follow syntax. The important things are this is the include file that where the code for your component will be. This is the class that implements the code functionality. And then here I have my code. Again, the code, you can find it in the libraries. If you go to Litov under the source, in C++ code, implement and talk with the sensor. And here you can see all of my source codes, they're open source. You can see how I have done it, and you can do the same, and people have done it. So the answer, to recap the answer, you don't have the right sensor, you can use custom code, or you can go and see how I have implemented other sensors implemented, or you can contact me, send me a sensor, and I'll try my best. Although I'm quite overloaded, I try my best to answer any
I
of them.
love the way Boyan makes it sound like it's so easy, because I want to point out to anybody watching this, if you haven't already worked this out, Boyan is a genius. Okay, he is a very, very smart guy. I mean, I talk to a lot of very smart developers. Selene, who is was commenting earlier on as an MVP, she's one of these people. She's super smart, but Boyan is next level smart. Okay, so when he says, "You just look at what I did and just copy it," it is, yes, and quite often it can be as easy as that. But also, not everything here is like super simple when it comes to working out these devices. Boyan's a smart guy. But it's yeah, I mean, you make the whole thing of programming these devices so really straightforward. It's absolutely amazing. Visuino itself is an absolute work of art anyway, in terms of visually programming, and lots of people commenting on the way that you link the devices visually, a bit like binding them together and stuff like that. And we did have one question. Finn Andre, I can't see what Hotved. Sorry, the light's in my eyes. He says, "Are there any videos that show Modbus between Delphi OpenWire and Visuino because it's of interest to them?" Does that?
Yes, yes. On my channel, there are videos that I have shown. I have also done code range presentations exactly on that. I did very interesting project. It was few years. It's available on my channel. It may also be available on the Embarcadero channels if you did.
Right.
But if you go on my channel and just type Modbus or PLC or industrial control, this particular video will pop up among others. And what I did is I programmed Delphi to talk to a PLC, control it, and get data from it. Then I programmed a second PLC to be a bridge, because again, Modbus can be done over serial port, it can be done over TCP/IP. Right? So I made it to be a bridge between serial port and TCP/IP port, converting the protocols and stuff, because there are different protocols for each of those. And I got Delphi to talk to the bridge, and then the bridge to talk to the device and pass the data back. All of that within the 45 minutes of the seminar, of the presentation and everything. So
yeah, and that's why I like doing these 30 for 30 webinars that we've been doing, because I actually specifically said when I was setting this up with the company, we're not going to have a time limit. We're going to go until we're ready, until we've talked about a subject and people have asked their questions and got their answers. And I think it's important for people to, if you're going to learn something, you need to learn it until you're satisfied that what you've heard, has made sense. I've put Boyan's YouTube channel up there. That's the right channel, isn't it? Boyan Mitov. It's not Mitov Software, is it? It's youtube.com /
Yeah, that's the right channel.
Yeah, good. Okay, all right. So they can go there and they'll get your YouTube. And as he said, we've done some code range videos, and Boyan will be coming back. We'll be doing more of these in the future. I'm going to have a chat with Boyan off camera in the future about doing some stuff, because what I'd like to do is actually give him a little bit of a project to set up in a Visuino, and for him to show how to do it, because I think that this is a subject that it's very, very interesting. Well, I nearly dropped my Coca-Cola all over my computer. That would have been bad. But it's one of these things where I think that there's a lot of interest in it, and it's almost parallel to normal Delphi development. A lot of Delphi developers, they don't really deal with hardware. That's not what they want to do. They're writing apps that do things to connect to the cloud and stuff like that. But there are just as many people, I think, out there that are very interested in plugging in the hardware, you know, ESP32 and Arduino and all those kind of devices, but also industrial control devices, as you said, and people who are asking questions about Modbus obviously do know what they're talking about, because if you understand what Modbus is, then it means you've probably got a need to communicate, you know, at that level. So very interesting. Ralph says, I almost finished a project in Arduino C++ for ESP with many standard modules, but also some not so common stuff. AP with a captive portal, chained RGB matrix panels. So Ralph is obviously one of your fans there, Boyan. He's definitely into what you're doing, and he also follows that. I said with multi-threading, ChatGPT was a great help. Writing code and showing how to use hardware. An agent directly in Delphi that can look at a huge project, do code review and write code would be great. Yes, Ralph, we're looking into doing some more stuff with AI. And starting in April, we're going to do some AI webinars. You're going to see even more of me. I know you're bored with me turning up these 30 for 30 webinars, but we're going to do even more just to really drive you crazy. Bert says he's going to send an email with these questions to you, to Ron Cutts as well. I don't know whether that makes sense. Salade, our Brazilian MVP, who's in this chat at the moment, she said, it's possible to write code and convert it. Is it possible to write code and convert it to Visuino code and Visual, or only change the Visuino configurations by code? Does that question make sense to you?
Yeah. This has problem, but here's the problem. If there is a lack of information, if you see a code, let's say normal code that toggles a digital pin for some purpose, right? Sets it true or false. You don't know what the intent of that toggle is. Are they trying to talk to some specific sensor or something else? There's no way to know that, right? So as a result, Visuino has no way of knowing, okay, well, they're toggling this digital pin. That means I have to pick communication with one of the digital sensors, let's say DHT 11, right? So for that purpose, there is not really way to figure out from normal code what really the intent of the developer was. Visuino is oriented toward the intent. As you can see, you're dropping the modules which implement a certain intent. They serve certain higher level type of function, right? So it's a higher level form of architecture. So that's the reason there is not really practical way you can take existing code and in meaningful form, yeah, you can create some kind of complete Gardo in Visuino that will work exactly as the original code, but it will be meaningless, right? So it will be the same type of meaningless mess as will be the original code. There is lots of information. It's the same thing as if you take assembly code and try to generate C++ code out of it. I mean, yeah, you can do it, but it becomes something completely unreadable and meaningless, more or less.
Yeah.
You can kind of sort of figure out what's happening, but you literally have to reverse engineer it. So for that reason, yeah, that's not really practical approach. And considering how quick and easy it's actually to redesign everything with Visuino, it makes no sense in most cases. Now, I'm not sure if it was part of the question, but once the code is generated, you can edit the code after that in, let's say, Arduino IDE, and there is a button for that if you want to open it in the Arduino IDE. But that is not necessarily recommended. That's recommended only if you want to do some quick experiment. If you should be doing them in Visuino. I'm not going to restrict you, but that's not something that makes sense to do.
Yeah. And let me just, I'm just typing something in here 1 second. Make sure I'm spelling this correctly.
Again, I'm sorry I couldn't show more stuff, but yeah, we have limited time and there are always hiccups that happen. I really want to show
I'm just going to put in here as well. This is Soledad's handle on Instagram and on YouTube. She's the person who just asked that question. She's actually an MVP, an Embarcadero MVP based in Brazil. She's a very good person to follow. She's into this kind of stuff as well. As I said, I've looked at her doing some stuff where she was programming a watch and a few other things as well. So, and she's a really great person. She's very, very cheerful all the time. I like people that are sort of very upbeat, but she's like that. And she was posting pictures of videos of her at Carnival in Brazil. You know, lots of Brazil really knows how to party hard, mate. I tell you, here in America, we need to catch up fast. But yeah, Soledad, she's very, very good. Let me just go back. There was another question as well. Some love here from one of our regular viewers. I love how Boyan programmed the object inspector with those pins. Yes, it's very, very good. As I said, you know, Boyan just goes, it's easy, you just do this. But Boyan is an extremely smart guy, you know, so don't be fooled. What he shows looks easy, but getting that right in Visuino and making it do what it does is really next level development skills there. He's a really, really smart guy. Finn also Finn is also very appreciative of you as well, Boyan. Very interesting subject, useful in so many places. And because I happened to mention that I was bored, Ralph says, great, thanks, and never bored. Well, yeah, you've got a high tolerance for it. So, and Arduino project says, Visuino plus Delphi, anything is possible. Yeah, well, you know, I think that's probably true. You know, there is not a real limit to what you can do. There was a question. Jim asked, what is the interface? And this is not the Jim we know, by the way, Boyan, but it's another Jim. What is the interface between Delphi and Visuino? I don't think.
I wanted to answer this question. So, in this demo that I did, we used serial communication. However, you can use TCP/IP communication. You can use Bluetooth. So there are definitely. I mean, I have done demos where I have demonstrated controlling robot with Bluetooth, and I have demonstrated controlling devices and stuff like that with TCP/IP communication with UDP. So yeah, all of those options are available.
Yeah.
They show the serial.
Yeah, and actually 12.3, which is just out, just for the company plug there, it actually had some improvements in the BLE stack as well, Bluetooth Low Energy, because there were some difficulties in the past, I think with 12.2, and they've actually put some fixes in to address that as well. So that's in 12.3 of Delphi, but you know, Visuino works with all these things. It's great stuff, and I'm very appreciative of you spending the time, Boyan, to explain it to us and show just a little bit of it. Boyan, you and I should do some more streams in the future. What do you think? We should. I have an idea of getting you to do something as a demo of Visuino, but also programming some arms. I think we should definitely get the knife fighting robot working. What do you reckon? I think we should get Visuino to get the robot arm to try and stab me. That would be kind of cool. And we should even make it so that there's a this is a brilliant. I see I'm saying this off the top of my head, but I'll regret it. What I should do is create a web stencils web page that people can say left or right, and then they can try and stab me with the knife fighting robot, and we'll program it in Visuino. How's that?
Well, I don't like much the stabbing part, but the rest is perfectly fine.
I think I'll probably have a plastic knife, just to be clear. I don't think I'll actually be getting my samurai sword down. That would probably be unwise. So yeah. Okay. Well, look. Let's just turn the cameras back on for a while now. You shove your camera back on.
I wanted only to mention one thing in terms of adding the pins. Yeah, quickly. But you can. To many of the properties you can add pins for them, and that applies both for Visuino and Delphi. So let's say here I can add a pin for the color, and that also applies. Yeah, I just demonstrated. Okay, I'm going to add another pin right here. So let's say a sync pin, and also to some of the events you can add pins, and of course you can add pins in Delphi for methods. Let's say a form close or something like that. So yeah, visual light binding is used both extensively in Visuino as well as in Delphi. That's what I wanted to add on.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. Yeah, I think, you know, as I've made it clear that you know, you're a smart guy. Let me let's turn us back into here. There you go. We're back into. I just wanted you to see that comment as well. Petrus Bosman says this is fantastic software, Boyan. Very underrated. Thank you, Boyan Mitov. So I know you always say Mitov, but I've been saying Mitov for so many years. My brain can't say Mitov. I apologize. It's like someone calling me Iron. I get people calling me Iron all the time. And I'm like, I even have a sticker here that says nobody gets my name right because a lot of people say my name wrong. And Delphi and Delphi. Well, you know, again, I can't do. Malcolm says Boyan supports the ADUG. Thank you. Yes, he does. And actually, on that note, they're having an Australian Delphi user group symposium, and I'm going to be there as well. I'm going to appear virtually like we are now. I'm also doing one for the Orange County Delphi users group next week, I think it is as well. So I'm everywhere. You know what it's like. But so is Boyan. He's always turning up at these places. He's a great guy. But a lot of love for you there, Boyan. I think yeah, we only really scratched the surface of what you can do, you know, with your Visuino. It's a great piece of software. It's completely written in Delphi, which is why I'm obviously very interested, but that's irrelevant. What's relevant here is how great the stuff is that you do. And your component sets, which we only really scratch the surface. Another time we'll show how you can use those components in Delphi, because you've got gauges, you've got oscilloscopes, you've got digital signal processing, you've got graphic object recognition or something like that. I forget.
Yeah.
You just basically you are like the source of all sorts of weird and crazy stuff. So yeah, it's really good stuff, and the quality is excellent as well. I very rarely hear anybody complain about you. So yeah, the amount of output you put out is ridiculous. Do you ever sleep? I mean, it seems like you work 24/7.
I do again with I'm aging and I'm not as productive as I used to be. But again, part of the reason I generate so much stuff is because I'm actually quite lazy. So I architect things. I spent a lot of time architecting things so I can write very little code and produce a lot. And you can see it with the Visuino components. I spent a whole year, more than a year actually, on and off, to develop a completely new technology, which is DTI, the dynamic type info. So DTI is effectively an extension on top of RTTI. First of all, before I even did the DTI, Embarcadero introduced the advanced RTTI, and that's great, except that it's difficult to use. So I made a decision to extensively start using RTTI, but it was challenging to properly use it the way, unfortunately, it was architected, especially in multi-threaded environment. So I ended up writing my own wrapper on top of the RTTI just in order to make myself more productive. Okay, so I started from there. Then I didn't stop there. On top of that RTTI that I have wrote on top of the Embarcadero RTTI, I extended it to become dynamic type info. So now you can create your own classes at runtime. Okay, so you can define your own properties, you can define your own classes, and so on and so forth. and effectively have some of the features that dynamic languages have, but right inside Delphi. And that's
And
what I use.
see, look, what you've just proven there is exactly what I just said. You're like, well, they implemented RTTI, which many people would consider quite an advanced piece of coding kind of technology. You're like, yeah, I wasn't very happy with it, so I just invented my own. Like, oh my god. You are really, you are something else. I
Again,
tell you, you
the
are
point is
something else.
that we talk that because I'm lazy. Okay.
No, I totally get it. I tell people this as well. I always say, hey, I may be the developer advocate, but why do I like Delphi? Because it makes me look good. And it's really easy to use. That's the thing that really bugs me is people say, oh, I'm going to go and use this language and so I say, that's like doing it the hard way. Why? I don't want to work hard. I want to work less and less as I get older and get paid more and more for doing fewer things. So
Correct.
it's crazy. I'm totally behind what you're saying. Is engineer it so that life is easier. Yeah,
Correct. Much easier.
you're
So
a
yeah,
star.
short,
I
short,
I
short story. I basically that's what I was showing earlier. I'm linking it with what I was showing earlier. So all those Visuino components, they're built on top of the DTI. So they're basically loaded and they become automatically classes inside Delphi. They start to look to Delphi as any other class there is, but they're just written normal text that gets passed at boot time for Visuino. So the first time you run Visuino after changes have been made, it will go pick up the text file, compile it, effectively import the DTI information, and then as far as Delphi is concerned, a brand new class has been created with its properties and everything else. And since I have made it so simple to modify and change those text files, now I can create components extremely fast. I don't have to go and mess up and recompile Delphi code and work with compile bugs and all of that stuff. No, I can just do it in text, and I can write components more than 10 times faster. So that's why I am productive, because I'm lazy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like it. That's why I work so hard, because I'm actually quite lazy. Boy, and you and I get on very well. We're good friends. We talk often about all sorts of things, and I'm happy if we can give you any support here. This is great. And by the way, everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, apart from subscribe to our channel, Embarcadero Tech, and click on the subscribe in the little bell icon and say all, so you get notified the next time Boyan and I go live. But also, if you look down there below us, you'll see this is Boyan's YouTube channel. Go to that channel, click on subscribe, and click on all. So when Boyan or myself go live to talk about these kind of things, you'll get notified. We won't know who you are. We don't know where you live. I mean, actually, that's not true. We know roughly what country you live in, but we don't know, whether you're in Dallas or you're in New Jersey or New Mexico. It doesn't really matter. We don't know your email address. We don't know nothing about you. All the benefit that you get from that is, first of all, it encourages people like Boyan to keep producing content. But more importantly, when we start going live on a video, you'll get a little ping that will say Boyan Mitov has gone live, or Embarcadero Tech has gone live, and you'll know that we're doing these kind of webinars, because I'd like to do more to get Visuino in front of more people, because I think, as someone said in the chat, it's amazing software. It was Petrus here said, this is fantastic software, very underrated. Thank you, Boyan. Well, yeah, absolutely, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Smart guy. Okay, well, should we call it a day then? I think we'll call it a day for now. And once again, thank you for joining me, and actually me joining you as well, as much as anything. I think we had a little bit of an issue with the streaming, but we'll sort that ready for the next time. But you get there. We always get asked, will there be a replay? Yes, we'll make sure that this replay goes up into the IDE. Rad Studio. So if you open Rad Studio, go to the welcome page. On the right, there's a thing that says Learn. This webinar will be on there, and it'll also be. We'll probably do a blog post about it as well. But and I'll give Boyan the sharing code so that he can also put it on his web page and have the video there. But all right, thanks a lot, Boyan, and I think we'll end the stream. And I'll see you all again on Tuesday, where we'll do yet another one of the 30 for 30s. If you're new to us and you've not heard about it, go to the webinar site here, scan this code. It'll take you to the webinar site, and you'll be notified of the next thing. I can't remember what I'm doing on Tuesday. Let me have a look. I think I've got it up. Oh, yeah, I have got it up. Oh, that's good. Oh, Tuesday I'm doing databases, loads of stuff about every database, MySQL, SQL Server, Pervasive, and Advantage database, and Postgres. I nearly forgot, and a few others as well. And I might talk about the BDE just so that we can all show how old we are, because you really do. Boyan says you need a better microphone. Well, we'll sort that out. I'll talk to him another time about how we can help tweak things. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Boyan. And final say goodbye from you, and we'll see you all again soon, but definitely on Tuesday. Bye bye.